many people have ventured into this business, but at the end of the day, a lot have gotten frustrated and they've quit this business. So frustration in this business just only come from mainly like losing animals. So in this video, I'll break it down for you. So like in mortality, we mean like we have like the mortality of adult goats and then the mortality of kid. But specifically for this video, we are going to break down kid mortality in detail and how we navigate it, like so that like someone outside there also should learn how we navigate this mortality in order for them like also what to gain profit in this game. So guys, like I know I've been there before, I've lost numerous number of animals. That's why I'm saying, if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? Please guys, we are here to give you information so that like we also navigate all those difficulty and then like also you gain profit. I've been there before. So guys, like make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel so that you be part of this handsome family. So guys, this video is about to be insane from start to finish, so stay tuned. With that being said, let's keep the video rolling. Hello everyone, it is a beautiful afternoon right here at the farm, and for those who don't know, we are coming live from northern Uganda. Just to be specific, we are in Amoro district. So guys, like as I stated earlier on, today we are going to break down kid mortality in details. And as you may not know, like most of this kid mortality happen at different stages of like growth in kid. So like when we talk about like the different developmental milestone in kids, so we have different key points where this like mortality and death occur. So in this video, I'll break it down for you. So like for better understanding of kid mortality, we are going to break it into two different parts. So like we are going to start from what prenatal mortality, and then like later on in the video we are going to dive into what we call like the postnatal mortality. So guys, like let's start with what we call like the prenatal mortality. So when we talk about prenatal, these are like the kind of death in kids that happen like when they are when they are still in their mothers. So like at this particular point, the mother is pregnant, but like you're going to start losing kid at that particular point, like when they have not yet like been like delivered. So like that's what mainly basically like overview of what we call like the prenatal mortality. So like for the prenatal mortality in kid, like in goats, like basically like we have like the three major cause of like prenatal mortality. Our first point is what we call like miscarriages and abortion. So like when your goat like lose the pregnancy in the early trimester, it is what we call like miscarriages. And then like if like they lose the kid like during toward the late trimester, it is what we call like abortion. So basically in goat, like the main cause of abortion, it is like brucella. So like it is mainly like a bacterial infection. So like mainly like it's just like if the pregnant goat is like affected by brucella, most of the time like the pregnancy tend to come out. Yeah. So like if like the mother get the infection toward the early trimester, it is going to lead to miscarriages. And then like if it get it toward the late trimester, it is what we call like abortion. But like for the purpose of this video, we are not going to dive into different type of abortion, but like I want to talk like about this type of abortion because like we have experienced it here at the farm. It is what we call like missed abortion. So like for someone who don't know what we call like missed abortion is like when like the goat has already like lost the kid inside there, but now the body has failed to eliminate that abortus, like that dead kid. So like at the end of the day, like that dead kid is going to like to remain inside the body of the mother. So like for better understanding of missed abortion, let me just like give you like these scenarios. There was like a time like some like I think like it was like some like almost like a year ago, whereby we had like this one goat whereby like it was pregnant. Even like for us, like now you can notice all like those sign of like of pregnancy like in that goat. Like for example, like the udder was fully developed, like everything was there. But now when the rest were giving birth, like its pregnancy disappear. So like the mistake we made at that particular point like was not paying attention. So like when this other one has given birth, like for it has not given birth, and then at the end of the day, like the pregnancy has disappeared. Now when the rest which have given birth, their kid like have started like to grow, like they have reached like around like a month. Then this one which has not given birth, like the pregnancy has disappeared. Now it has started to become very weak, and then like it reached a point there, a certain point whereby like we were like grazing outside there like at the field. Now it is started like to sleep. So like that was the point that we realized like there was a problem, like because like it has started like even to lose weight. Everything was not fine with her. So we decided what to slaughter it. And then like after slaughtering it, now we reached like the uterus. Like the uterus was like still there, but like the content of the uterus, like the fetus was already decomposed. Like the best thing I can describe it with it is like when you slaughter a goat, like inside the rumen, and then the reticulum, those are like the first two chambers of the chamber of the stomach of the goats. So the content inside is the kind of content we got inside inside the uterus. So the kid has already decomposed from inside like the body of the mother. So like it was like starting now to like affect the entire uterus, and then going to spread the infection to the rest of the internal organ. So like you may or may not experience this then, but I just give you like I just give you this scenario so that like you also have this point of misabortion. So like basically that's our point number one. So like how can we like avoid abortion? Mainly like basically like by avoiding abortion, like because like for example with brucella, you can vaccinate against brucella. So make sure you vaccinate against brucella so that like you navigate this other side of losing kid due to infection. Then abortion can also like occur as a result of eating these grasses, like which are what, like I don't know how to describe it, but like you know like nowadays like we use a lot of chemical outside there, and sometimes like your animal may go and eat like grasses from a place where they have sprayed it with a lot of chemicals. And most of the time this chemical they spray for killing weeds, all this kind of thing. They have like a chemical compound, like the chemical compound they use, like the active ingredients of those herbicide, like they have what they call like a strong glycosidic bond. And if animals eat those grasses that's those chemical, so like those bonds will always go and like affect like the life of the baby inside, and hence the baby will come out as like abortion. Thirdly, abortion can also occur as a result of like keeping your male like in the yard. So let me give you these scenarios. Like I had this like before, like when I was starting out. So like when I was starting out, like I used to keep all my like animals, the bag, the female together. So like there will come a time like if like these goats are pregnant, like especially toward like the late trimester, they tend like to come on heated. That's what we call like light heat in goats. So like those light heat also will keep triggering this male goat like to have that feeling of mating, and yet like this other goat is already pregnant. So at the end of the day, if they mount this pregnant goat, they will cause also abortion. So like how to navigate that, that's why we say like always when all your goat has already been mated, like remove the back from the rest of the animals, and then keep it separate to avoid this incident of like mating, like so that like it doesn't cause abortion. So that is basically our point number one about abortion and miscarriages. So our point number two, what we call nutrition. So like basically in nutrition, this one come way earlier, even before even like this goat has gotten pregnancy. Like for example, if like you introduce a female goat which has lost a lot of weight, in other words, if the body score of that female goat is not good, as I stated earlier on in like previously in some other video, like I said, like before introducing any female goat, make sure that like that goat has already obtain at least like 60 to 70% of their body weight. When you introduce like a mother which has not obtained like that 60 to 70% of their body weight, now the body of the animals, like they will really know that like when now they say like a secondary life, that is like the kid inside there, the body now will shift their attention from the mother to the baby. So that's why it is really very hard like for a goat that has not obtained 60 to 70% of their body weight to obtain weight at that particular point. And yet like like this internal life, that is the baby, it is going to depend on the mother. So like the mother is at that particular point, they ask like to eat like for two life, like for its life, and then like for the life of the baby that is inside. Now the fetus inside now is going to start growing, and now if what the mother is taking in cannot now sustain the life, the baby now will start now going and getting this nutrient that is required for its growth from the mother's reserve. Yeah, that is like from the body of the mother. So at that particular point now, the body of the mother will keep on deteriorating further and further. The mother's stores now are about to be depleted. Body now will now detect that the mother cannot sustain its life, and then the best option for them is to let it go. So now at that particular point, that is when now nutrition is going to cause prenatal mortality. So guys, after looking at prenatal mortality, so guys, let's dive into postnatal mortality. So for better understanding of postnatal mortality, we are going to divide it into two different sections. So we are going to divide it into before the death that occur before 1 month, and then the death that occur after after 1 month. So for someone who don't know what a postnatal mortality means, it basically means the kind of death that occur in kids when they already been born. If they're after giving birth to them, there any death that occur after that one is what we call a postnatal mortality. So let's start with the death that occur before 1 month of age. So basically the kind of mortality that occur in the kids at that particular point, they are mainly of 2 to 3 major different causes. The first cause of postnatal mortality that occur before 1 month is what we call hypoglycemia. For someone who don't know hypoglycemia basically means it is what we call low blood sugar level. So how can a kid that has been given birth have low blood sugar? Simply because this one start from handling the kid after birth, right? Some of us when our kids are when our goats are giving birth, we tend to stay away. We tend to stay maybe inside doing some other stuff. Then we leave them to give birth. Then after probably we may or may not check on them after giving birth. Of which that is really very bad, because now when your pregnant goat is giving birth, you have to be there. So after giving birth, you make sure that within the first 2 hours of giving birth, they should get the milk, they should suckle. Yeah, so that they get the colostrum. So basically inside the colostrum we have a lot of nutrients the antibodies and all those other kind of things that is required of which if they don't get it within the first 2 hours, it is really going to affect them. And sometimes you find your goat is giving birth to a weak baby which has no suckling reflex. So in that matter, if you're not there, that kid is going to have what we call low blood sugar. That's hypoglycemia. And sometimes if you don't act immediately, they will die. So basically that is the cause number 1. Then secondly, the cause number 2 of the postnatal mortality that happened before 1 month, it is what we call hypothermia. For those who don't know what hypothermia means, is what we call low body temperature. So low body temperature simply occur when basically sometimes you find your goats has given birth and the mother don't they don't lick those slippery fluid that cover the baby inside their womb. So if they don't clean that one, sometimes they will remain on the baby, and then sometimes they cause what we call hypothermia, in a way that if your mother has given birth, for example during rainy season, and they don't lick it and you are not there, so the remain of those together with the cold temperature outside the environment, it is what is going to cause hypothermia. So for a farmers outside there should really mind about hypothermia very well, because it is the leading cause of death in kids before 1 month. So how can we navigate that? We can navigate that for example, maybe your goats has given birth, and let me say it is maybe during cold weather, all this kind of thing. So you can get a small stove for them, you cover it very well so that they don't burn themselves. Then in the cold night, you put the stove inside there so that they warm themselves. Yeah, so that is a way we can avoid hypothermia. Then the third one is what we call septicemia. Septicemia, it is generally mean we have too much microorganism, for example bacteria into the bloodstream. So mainly that one will come as results of infection. So how does these kids before 1 month get this infection? Basically it's through the umbilical stem, after the goat has been given birth, the separation of the umbilical cord, sometimes it is too long to the extent that now if you don't disinfect that umbilical cord, that's then the microorganism the bacteria, they're always available within our environment. They will get in touch with the umbilical stem, then they get inside the baby, and then they cause what we call septicemia. And it is also one of the leading cause of death in kids at tender age, yeah. So like for someone outside there, how can you avoid it? You can avoid that by what? After like your mother's given birth, then like what? Then the remain of the umbilical cord like that has remained in the way, like what, on the baby, like what, you put like what, the iodine in it, like the iodine tincture, you apply on it so that like it dries so fast and then like, it fall off, and preventing the what we call our septicemia. Then lastly, like the main another cause is what we call what, it is like what, clostridiols. So clostridiols, like I'm talking about this like from experience, because like we lost almost like over 20 kids like in our previous kidding season, simply because like of what, of clostridium. So like someone else there should be watchful of clostridium. So basically like we have like what, clostridium type C, type D. So like these clostridiums are very deadly, especially like we find like they are mainly like available within the environment. So like this clostridium, let me start with clostridium type C. So type C basically like what, this normal the clostridium is one of like the normal flora, like inside the gut of the like of the GIT. You find them there, they are there. But now, if any condition like turn, they will become very wild. So if like for example, the clostridium type C mainly it produce what we call like what, beta toxin. It is the beta toxin that is going to what, kill the baby. Just suddenly you find like the baby is like too fat, it is too big, nothing is wrong. You pack like you put them inside, the next day you find them dead without no any other sign, just like that, like they are dead. So basically for the first 2 weeks of their life, it is mainly what, clostridium type C that killed them. Then after like the 2 weeks, it is what now, it is clostridium type D. So for the clostridium type D, but for it like it produced that it cause what, it cause what, brain lesion. It is now the brain lesion that is going to kill what, the kids. Most of the time this kid, they show no sign of illness, but now the next day you find them dead. So guys, like after looking at the postnatal mortality that occur before 1 month, let's dive in like to look at the kind of postnatal mortality that occur like after 1 month. So for those postnatal mortality that occur after 1 month, like we have some of the few causes that cause those postnatal mortality. So our cause number one is what we call like what, like the worms. Yeah. So like after 1 month, like like your kids has already started like to nipples on this dry gas, and sometimes even like they've already started like yeah, like grazing around like within the compound of your farm. So like at that particular point, like so if you don't deworm your kid, so the worms are going to cause a lot of destruction inside the body of the what, of the animal, but basically the worms are going to cause the anemia. It is the anemia that is going to kill those kids, right? Just know like when these animals are young, like the worms, they don't know that this one is young or what, like so like they just heavily feast onto the what, onto the blood of this animal, like to get their nutrients also. But now for these babies, like for these kids, when they are young, like well, let's just like look like what will happen like when these animals like ingest a lot of worms from the grasses like around. So like these worms like will go and then attach themselves on the mucosas of the intestine, like the inner lining of the what, of the intestine. It is now from there, that's when they are going to what, they are going to suck the blood of the animals. So like they will drain the blood of the animals to the extent that is going to cause the anemia. So now if you don't like deworm your kid like before that particular point, you are going to lose your kids to worms as a result of anemia. So like you should start deworming your kid like after 2 weeks, yeah, after 2 weeks. But for better understanding of this video, like we put it like what, after a month. But now you should start deworming your kid with chemical warmers after what, 2 weeks. Like when they have just started like to nipples on the dry grass, you start deworming your kid, and that is how you are going to avoid this problem of what, death that occur due to worms. Yeah. So that is our cause number one. Then our cause number two is what we call like the ticks. Yeah, the ticks are one of the deadly weapon outside there that will kill our goats, whether it is like young or it is like a kid. But for this video we are looking at kids mortality, right? So like these worms, like they don't know, like some of you like after maybe like your goat has given birth, you just keep them in, you keep them separate, you don't spray them, all this kind of thing with a parasite, and yet like that like these ticks are very deadly. They don't even know that this one is a kid or this one is an adult goat. For them, they just like what, they want to feast on the blood. So like if your mother has given birth, make sure that like you start spraying your goats immediately, so that like what you prevent this tick from what attacking them. So the tick, it is going to cause this young kid with what we call hot water, anemia, plus all those kind of stuff. It is those all those like those secondary effect that is going to kill these babies. Yeah, so that is our second cause. That is what the ticks. So make sure like if your goat has given birth, even if like yeah you are going to spray your goat today, and this like your mother, your pregnant goat has given birth today, make sure that kid is sprayed. Though like you have to reduce the concentration of what, of the acaricide. It is now most of us like we use the same concentration of acaricide that we spray our adult goat on the what, on the kids also. Like, but remember now the skin of those the skin of this like the skin of these kids, it is like very fragile, so like spraying them with the same concentration of acaricide that we use on adults onto them, like it is going to affect them, sometimes even like it is going to kill them. But make sure that like if you are spraying them, you have to reduce the concentration of acaricide, so that like you don't kill your kids also. So that one has happened to me also. We have just learned it like the hard way after losing some kid, like after spraying them like with the same concentration of acaricide we used to spray this adult goats, then like we use it on them. So that one is not good. Make sure like you lower the concentration of the acaricide. So that is how you are going to navigate that death that occur as a result of tick, because like tick is very deadly. So our last cause of postnatal mortality that occur after 1 month is what we call like coccidiosis. Coccidiosis is mainly like what, generally what, diarrhea in kids. So how do you are going to avoid that? You are going to avoid that basically by what, having what, antidiarrheals at home. And basically the best way to avoid that before even having antidiarrheals is what we call sanitation. You make sure that like all your kid pens are very clean. You sieve them every day. For those who are using like raised structure whereby you are going to put dry grasses so that like the kid sleep on it, make sure yeah you take all the dry grasses outside every day, and then make sure you change it after 1 week, and then like we'll put in a new grass. Because like if you don't change, now the urine, all those kind of thing, everything, it is what is going to what cause the what, like what, the diarrhea together with what with pneumonia. So guys, I hope someone found this video helpful. So guys, like if you're watching after this particular, I really appreciate it. But if you're not subscribed to this channel, what are you waiting for? Please guys, like this video, subscribe to the channel so that you be part of this amazing family. Guys, I'm telling you, there are only few people who are bringing this kind of content outside there. But for us here, like we say, like you have to subscribe, because like we have like a lot of good content coming your way every week. I say like every week on Friday we have new content dropping in. So guys, like with that being said, I can't wait to see you in our next episode. Bye bye.